He signed the check for $10 million on a Tuesday morning. The air in my office smelled like old leather and coffee that had gone cold an hour ago. My financial advisor sat across from me, silent, watching my pen move across the paper. When I looked up, he didn't smile. He just said, "You should wait." I didn't listen. That was my first mistake. I built my wealth over 30 years. Software contracts, real estate investments, a few good decisions when everyone else panicked. I wasn't flashy about it. I drove the same car for a decade. I lived in a modest house with a garden I maintained myself. My money wasn't for show. It was security. It was freedom. It was the product of discipline, long nights, and saying no to shortcuts. I never married. No kids of my own. But I had a nephew, Daniel, my younger sister's son. He grew up watching me from a distance, asking questions about business, about how I made things work. I gave him advice when he asked. I helped him once with college tuition when his mother struggled. I thought I was teaching him responsibility. Looking back, I realized I might have been teaching him something else entirely. Expectation, assumption, entitlement. Daniel was ambitious. That's not a bad thing. But ambition without accountability is dangerous. He wanted success, but he didn't want to earn it the way I did. He wanted the results without the discipline. I saw it in the way he talked about money, the way he spent before he had it, the way he looked at my life like it was something he deserved access to. The charity donation wasn't impulsive. I'd been planning it for months. A foundation that built schools in rural areas gave scholarships to kids who had nothing. It felt right. My advisor disagreed. 10 million is a lot to move at once, he said. You have family. You have obligations. What if something happens? I waved him off. I was healthy. My investments were solid. I didn't need 10 million to live comfortably for the rest of my life. 2 weeks after the donation cleared, Daniel called. He didn't ask how I was. He got straight to it. Uncle, I need to talk to you about something serious. We met at a cafe near his apartment. He had documents with him, printed pages in a folder he laid on the table between us. I'm launching a startup, he said. I have investors interested, but I need collateral to close the deal. He slid the folder toward me. I was thinking you could co-sign a loan, just on paper. It won't cost you anything. I opened the folder. The amount was $3 million. The collateral he wanted to use? My house. I closed the folder slowly. You want me to risk my home for your business idea? He smiled, relaxed, like this was a formality. Uncle, you just donated 10 million to strangers. I'm family. That was the moment. That single sentence. It wasn't a request, it was a claim. I didn't answer him right away. I told him I'd think about it. That night, I sat in my kitchen with the folder open in front of me. The numbers didn't add up. His so-called investors were vague. The business plan read like something copied from the internet. But what bothered me more was the assumption. The idea that because I gave money to charity, I owed him something. That my generosity was proof I had money to spare, and therefore money to risk. He called me 3 days later. Did you think about it? I said I needed more time. He sighed, frustrated. Uncle, this is time sensitive. If I don't move fast, I lose the opportunity. I asked him what would happen if the business failed. He hesitated. It won't. That wasn't an answer. That was hope pretending to be a plan. My sister called next. Daniel must have talked to her. He says you're being difficult, she said. He just needs a little help. You've always been so good to him. I could hear the guilt she was trying to build. I loved my sister, but she never understood boundaries. To her, family meant unconditional support, no matter the cost. To me, family meant respect. And respect included not asking someone to gamble their security on your dream. I started going through my documents alone at night. Tax records, investment statements, the deed to my house. I wanted to see clearly what I was being asked to risk. My advisor called to check in. Did you co-sign anything yet? I told him no. He exhaled, relieved. Good, because I looked into his investors. They're not real. It's a shell game. He's trying to use your name to leverage a loan he can't pay back. I didn't confront Daniel immediately. I needed to be sure, so I did something I'd never done before. I hired someone to look into his finances, not out of spite, out of necessity. What came back wasn't surprising. Daniel had debts I didn't know about. Credit cards maxed out, personal loans from friends. He wasn't building a startup. He was trying to cover holes, and he thought my house, my equity, my 30 years of discipline could be his safety net. The moment I saw the report, something shifted inside me. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was clear. This wasn't about family anymore. This was about a choice. And I had to choose myself. I didn't call Daniel. I didn't argue with my sister. I called my lawyer. I updated my will. I made sure that if anything happened to me, my assets would go to the same foundation I donated to, not to family who saw me as a resource instead of a person. I restructured my estate to protect what I'd built. Everything legal, everything calm, no drama, no announcements. Then I sent Daniel a short email. I've reviewed your proposal. I'm declining. I won't be co-signing any loans or providing collateral. I wish you the best with your business. That was it. No explanation, no lecture, just a boundary. He called within an hour, angry now, no longer polite. You donated $10 million to people you don't even know, but you won't help me. I let him finish. Then I said, I donated my money, not my security. There's a difference. He hung up. 3 months later, I heard through my sister that Daniel's startup never launched. The investors he mentioned were never real. He'd been depending entirely on my co-signature to make the deal look legitimate. Without it, the whole thing collapsed. He blamed me, of course. Told people I abandoned him, that I cared more about strangers than family. But something else happened too. Other family members started reaching out, quietly, privately. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. They'd heard what happened. And instead of taking his side, they thanked me. I wish I'd said no to him when he asked me, one of them said. Turns out, I wasn't the first person Daniel had tried to use. I was just the first person who refused. The truth came out naturally. No confrontation needed, no revenge required, just consequences meeting choices. I still see my sister occasionally. We don't talk about Daniel much. She's hurt that I didn't help him, but she also knows I wasn't wrong. Boundaries don't make you heartless. They make you sustainable. I don't regret the donation. That 10 million is building schools, changing lives, creating opportunity where there was none. That was my choice, my money, my decision. Daniel eventually found work. Nothing glamorous, but stable. Maybe that was what he needed all along. Not a shortcut, just the reality that no one owes you success. I learned something through all of this. Generosity without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-destruction. And family that only values you for what you can give them isn't family. It's transaction dressed up as love. A year has passed since all of this happened. I still support causes I believe in. I still help people when I can. But now I do it on my terms, with clear eyes and firm boundaries. I've learned to separate compassion from obligation. Helping someone doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. And saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. Sometimes late at night, I think about that moment in the cafe when Daniel slid that folder across the table. The confidence in his eyes. The assumption that I would say yes. And I wonder how many other people in my life saw me the same way. Not as a person, but as a solution to their problems. Not as family, but as a financial safety net. That realization hurt more than the betrayal itself. But it also freed me. Because now I know the difference between people who love you and people who need you. And that difference changes everything. If this real-life story resonated with you, hit the like button and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on family expectations and personal boundaries. Subscribe for more emotional stories told with honesty and restraint. Thanks for listening.